The horse began to trample the coffin, and when the lid broke, everyone around was shocked to hear someone crying. A 60-year-old farm owner named Ahmed lived on his large farm, surrounded by his loving family. Since childhood, Ahmed grew up surrounded by animals. His father and mother were avid animal lovers. They raised cattle, horses, and had many pets in their home. Ahmed grew up knowing how to earn the trust of animals. For some reason, the animals seemed to gravitate toward Ahmed. Of all the animals Ahmed observed, horses were undoubtedly his favorite. The boy woke up earlier than everyone else in the house and rushed to the stable, where he diligently combed their wool, luxurious manes, and fed them. The horses loved Ahmed very much and neighed excitedly when he came to the stable. It is no surprise that he inherited the farm and its traditions when Ahmed's parents grew old and passed away. When Ahmed was 48 years old, his path crossed with a special horse. He was selling horse feed when he overheard a customer talking about how he was going to euthanize a newborn foal. Immediately after these words, Ahmed asked to hear more about this situation. The buyer said the horse that gave birth to the foal was very sick and probably passed some of it on to her offspring. According to the buyer, the newborn foal was so sick, and the birth was so traumatic that its mother died within an hour. There was nothing that could be done for the foal. He was skinny, could barely see, and would likely die within a few days. The buyer went on to say that the need to care for the foal was burning a hole in his pocket, and it would be more profitable to put him down. Ahmed's heart immediately sank with pity for the poor thing, and he asked to be shown to her. When he visited the farm, his heart melted when he saw the foal. He was as thin as they said, and had a sad look in his eyes. Ahmed was so upset that the owners clearly did not care for this animal. They didn't even give him a chance to live. Much to their surprise, Ahmed asked them to sell him the foal. The other farm owner looked at Ahmed as if he had suddenly grown a second head. They asked why he did it. "Don't you see how pathetic and weak he looks? There's nothing you can do about it, and it probably won't last a month," the owner warned. Ahmed was adamant. He didn't care what others thought. Eventually, the owner agreed. He still didn't put up much of a fight, but he warned that Ahmed had better not come back and demand his money back when the young horse eventually died. Ahmed agreed, and they quickly led the young horse out of the farm, lying there with a sad expression on its face. They loaded the horse into the truck, and soon they were on their way to Ahmed's farm, located on the outskirts of the city. The first thing Ahmed did was call a veterinarian to examine the foal. Although he knew how to care for such animals, it was clear that the poor thing would need medical attention. The veterinarian asked Ahmed to take the foal to his veterinary center, located a few miles from his farm outside the city. Ahmed was determined to help the foal survive. It didn't matter that the vet was far away. He drove his truck to the vet, where they could find answers to his questions. After examining the young horse and running several tests, the veterinarian took a deep breath. The foal would most likely not survive to adulthood. In fact, it would be something of a miracle if he lived even a few months with due attention and patience. Ahmed said he was prepared to give the foal as much attention as he could, no matter how short their predictions for his life would be. The passionate farm owner made every effort to ensure the foal was comfortable and happy. Ahmed named the horse Topaz. Although the vet said it would be a miracle if Topaz lived a year or two, the first year passed. Then the second, third, fourth, and fifth. Just 5 years later, Topaz shocked everyone who knew his story. This weak, sickly colt grew into a stunning, majestic racehorse. He was strong, fast, energetic, and very playful. He was so attached to Ahmed that the farm owner's assistants and his family joked that the horse probably considered Ahmed his real father. The horse followed Ahmed everywhere, looking at him with love in his eyes. Ahmed liked to joke that he looked after Topaz so diligently that the horse had no choice but to stay alive and well. Unfortunately, after a few years, Ahmed became seriously ill. He became so ill that he could not care for the animals on the farm. His wife and children took up the work, and he looked after them and did what little he could. Of course, Topaz was not like the other animals on the farm. He had intelligent eyes and a beautiful soul that everyone could see. In the evenings, when Ahmed sat on the porch of his house, Topaz quietly ran up to the house. There, he lay down next to Ahmed and spent time with him. They began to do this in the mornings and evenings. Unfortunately, Ahmed had a heart attack while he was in his garden. Although his family acted quickly, they could do nothing to save Ahmed in their small town. In accordance with their traditions, they began the funeral rites and carefully washed Ahmed's body. They wrapped him in burial cloth and placed him in a wooden coffin to take him to the burial site. Everyone was shocked when, heading towards the cemetery, they heard neighing from afar. The farm workers tried to lock Topaz in the stable, but the huge horse was so strong that he kicked down the door. The horse was fast and relentless as it chased the crowd. Ahmed was a good man, so there were many crying people at the burial site. At the sight of a large, powerful horse rushing towards them, everyone scattered and moved away from the place where the coffin stood near the grave. When Topaz reached the coffin, he began to aggressively advance on it. Although people knew that the horse was not trying to be sinister and was saddened by Ahmed's death, they also knew that it was difficult to stop. Just when they were able to tie the rope around Topaz, the horse threw off the coffin lid. The horse stopped stepping on it and instead began sniffing the body of its dead owner. Everyone was stunned by what was happening, and after a few seconds, there was silence. Crying was heard from the coffin. Ahmed screamed and jumped up from where he was lying. Everyone instantly screamed in fear and scattered. Ahmed's family and the few friends who remained nearby watched in shock as Ahmed exclaimed that he was almost buried alive. Despite being scared, Ahmed's family and friends were moved to tears. They thought it was a miracle and that Topaz had somehow learned that his master was actually alive. A medical expert who heard about the case said that although Ahmed's story was incredible, it was likely not a miracle. He was probably experiencing something called catalepsy, a medical condition that simulates death with the loss of sensation, vital functions, consciousness, and stiffness of the body.
Similar cases, although rare, have happened before. Thanks to the incredible bond that bound Topaz and Ahmed,
the horse discovered that his master was still alive and prevented him from being buried alive. Who would have thought that the weak, sickly colt he bought many years ago would be the one to save him from a sad end? Dear viewers, what feelings did this story about the incredible relationship between a horse and its owner evoke in you? Please tell us in the comments. And if you liked this video, then like it and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.